my name is Melanie. Thank you for clicking on this video, and hope you enjoy it. I have been riding for about 15 years. I've owned my own miniature horses for 6 years now, and I will be introducing them shortly. I am working on my rider levels, and I've gotten the first 2 so far, which is very nice. And I'm working on online courses as well, and I have a few videos already on this website. And if you'd like to give them a try, that would be awesome. I am also getting a new horse very shortly, which is pretty cool. The first horse I would like to introduce you to is Major. Next one I would like to introduce you to is Princess. And I also have her sister, Snowball. On my channel, I already have a couple of videos of Major considered as being introducing. I will be doing another one of more in depth about him. I'm sorry if it doesn't look like I'm looking straight at the camera. This is the first time doing a selfie. And I will also be doing introduction episodes for my 2 girls that I will also be linking on to YouTube, hopefully shortly within the next couple of weeks. Be doing another video of a tour of my barn. If you guys like to give any of these videos a try, that would be awesome. If you like them, please leave a comment down below, even for this video, and I will get to them as soon as possible. And please subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Welcome back to another video. I thought I'd give you a bit more of a story of how we got to these minis and that. So when we hadn't moved to the property that this, and a lot of the videos before this and a lot after this one were filmed and taking place, we always knew that we used to live in the city, went a little bit more of a calmer, quieter type, and we also knew that we wanted to get horses. And that, so we had moved to this place in 2010. Right? It was an interesting experience, not because we were also living there where a whole bunch of construction was being done, and that, and my parents and others were working on the house. I was starting to work on the barn and that and stuff. So for the first 4 years that we lived there and stuff, we didn't have any horses because the barn definitely wasn't ready, because we did have coyotes in the area, so we knew more likely whether it's full-size horses, minis. That time was just going to be full-size horses, is that we were going to put them in at night for their safety. But again, the stables at that time weren't quite ready. That walls were coming down. There's a fake ceiling that we wanted to pull down and fix up the stalls and that. So fast forward from 2010 to 2014, that summer, we actually had friends of ours that had cows. So we ended up having a summer of the cows with us. A very nice experience, and that we were given 4 cows. 1 hen came with a calf, and 2 out of the 3 others were pregnant. 1 had a set of twins, and that. So it was awesome. Neat to see the process of them having their kids, or calves in this case. Not. What I was not expecting was how we ended up getting these 4 minis. So last summer, at the end of August, they ended up going back home. And then my understanding is that the owner of Major, who is the brown one, and that he had gotten him along with a 30-year-old mare who hadn't survived that winter, sadly. And his fields or paddocks were very big. And at this point, Major was 8 at that time, and so he was still a stallion. What was happening is that he was actually severing the guy's herd. Because he thought he was very big and macho. So he ended up gelding him, but he was still separating the herd. And with another winter coming up and stuff, especially because of the size of the fields, he didn't think it was right, because it would take a very long time to get the horses. So he had, I think, called up my mom and said he was going to take all the pictures, and told her this whole story and stuff. And he sent me the emails and stuff. No, of course, I haven't been able to say that. So I think it was the same day he had called my mom and stuff, and she had called me up. Both my parents were at work. She said that I think they were on their way home, and said that they were coming to pick me up, but absolutely no clue what we were doing. I thought maybe we were just going out for supper and stuff. So I ended up getting into the truck, and we had gone into our local pack store, Green Hop. Because even though they knew we were getting it Major, we weren't sure if he was going to be coming with anything. So we got him a halter, we got if we could pick up the treats and stuff. And then he came that weekend and stuff, and I was able to lead him from our laneway to the back paddock that he was going to be staying in. And the owner had ended up going around with my dad, checking all the gates. So you had the 2 paddocks, the small, what I consider as a medium, all set up. And he was testing the gates. With the way we had put the gates on, he said that Major, especially the man gate, would actually be able to lift it. So what we had ended up doing, and my dad had said, is that he was going to make little blocks, and he was going to put them on top of the hinges. So at this time, it was definitely a very scary experience, but we had been starting to winterize our property, and my mom and I ended up going back into town and stuff, because we wanted to get him a few more things, some more treats and some toys. And we had come up back to the property, and my mom had stayed in the house. I was going to start taking the stuff to the barn, and first we were going to see Major and stuff. Of course, no leaves or anything by this point in time of the year. So I thought, oh, maybe he's just camouflaged in it. And I'd also actually taken off his halter. And as I'm getting closer to the gate, the paddock and stuff, I'm like, in my head, okay, something looks weird. Came out on the porch, espied some Major, and a booger. And while we were gone and stuff, I had gotten the gate off the hinges, but it was still attached to the fence with the chain, so it was very risky. So we're walking, and we're living close to the highway and stuff, but thankfully, property that much from the main road, our side road is off of all the way to the highway at a farm, and they also have horses and stuff. So it's just good for companions. And as I was walking the road, my mom went up to that farm, said what was going on, and asked if she could look on the property. And I had a few big manure piles, and thankfully her and who became a friend of ours and stuff had ended up finding him. But he said we had just gotten him, have anything on him, my mom have anything with her and stuff. So she had pulled me up and said that they had found him and just used sweet feed and ended up doing a rope halter and that. So if you have not gotten horses before, I think you gain one and have them on property and stuff, I would suggest ahead of time to, especially if the way it is you or any type of horse can easily lift it off, is instead of rejigging it, and that is get like I think it was a 2x4 and stuff. My dad just put them on top of all of them, made a huge difference and stuff. Because for all I know, he might have just put his head through. Because like famous thing is, it's always greener on the other side and stuff. So it was a scary time, especially because we had only had him for a few hours. And that thankfully he was back. And then a week later, we had found that these two girls on Kijiji, and the owners who had them was a breeder, and he was slowly retiring and wasn't going to be doing any breeding anymore. And that, so knowing that they're definitely herd animals and stuff, and it wasn't right for him to be on his own, we ended up getting it the two girls after a week after that, and it was very interesting because we hadn't known him was fine. The neighbors of who we got these girls from and stuff had known them, and they said they were all good and healthy and that. So a lot of times, O'Brien Hospital I was at the time usually did a 2-week quarantine period where they're not close to any other horses. And when we had gone solo a few years after these guys, we had also, because he came from a barn that had strangles, he was clear and stuff. But we did like a month or 2 quarantine just to be on the safe side. But because we knew the girls were good and stuff, we ended up putting them together and that. And it's just very nice seeing them. He was very happy to have others with him and stuff. So thank you so much for watching this, and if you made it this far, for me rambling this story of Nick and the minis, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Girls.
You doing your breakfast, Amber?
Did you finish your breakfast? Girl. Girl. Hey, now I gotta go feed my horses.
Girls.